Welcome back everyone to the interview series we are doing as part of the Multilingual Mind lecture series. Here we are interviewing the speakers and asking them different questions about their research and their background. The Multilingual Mind lecture series takes place every Tuesday from 5 to 6:30, and everyone is welcome. The next talk will be on the 17th of November by Sarah von Grebmer zu Wolfsthurn, Letizia Pablos-Robles, and Niels Schiller on Cross-Linguistic Interference in Multilingual Speakers, an ERP Study. We had a chance to speak to Sarah and ask her two questions. Sarah completed her bachelor's in experimental psychology and her master's in neuropsychology at the University of Bristol, and she is now one of the PhD students of the MultiMind project. She's investigating cross-linguistic transfer effects in bilingual speakers during grammatical gender processing. The first thing we wanted to know from her was why she decided to do a PhD in multilingualism.
I'm from an area in northern Italy, like a very, very small place where people speak both German and Italian. And then later on in school, I learned English and French. So I guess multilingualism has always been part of my development, as it has been obviously for a lot of people. But it hasn't been until my master's really that I started thinking about, okay, what is underneath all of this? What does it really mean to be multilingual? And I think that with open borders and free movement in Europe and across the world, I think the population is moving more towards being multilingual. But we actually know very little about it, and there's so many open questions. So when the PhD came along, I just knew that this was something I would like to look into and I wanted to get involved in.
Thank you for the answer, Sarah. In your research, you're also looking at the multilingual brain. We wanted to know what fascinates you most about that.
I think that's a very good question. So the human brain is one of the most complex systems that is known to humans. And I think just thinking about that there is something like a brain that kind of sits between your ears, that is responsible for everything that you do and feel. I think it's crazy and super fascinating at the same time. The thing is that we know very little about how it actually works. So for example, how does a brain deal with more than one language at once? Or how do we end up saying the correct thing in the correct language? So I think the most fascinating thing about the brain is that there are still so many questions to be answered. And I think that I'm hoping that a PhD in multilingualism really allows me to kind of try and search for some of these answers.
So that's it for today. Thank you, Sarah, for taking your time and answering the questions, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the interview. And I also hope to see some of you at the lecture series on the 17th of November.